Vayner Nation, very exciting episode. This crew, I actually, it was really fun when this crew went down the escalator. One is a ridiculously handsome and famous face to me, and I made the connection very quickly. And the other is like, I'm like, wait a minute.
Not as
I had
handsome.
dinner with this dude like 3 years ago. He's a real entrepreneur. So I was super excited when they pitched. And it's been really fun. I actually got to see the preview of their episode. I haven't seen the final edits as this recording of this podcast goes. I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. But in the hundreds of pitches, it was one of the more memorable ones for me. I remember quite a bit about it. And so without a further ado, gentlemen, why don't you introduce yourselves to the Vayner Nation, who you are, a little bit about yourselves and the app that you guys presented, and then we'll get into the show.
My name's Damon Wayans Jr. I'm an actor and a comedian.
Male model.
Male model, potentially. If the money's right. You know what I'm saying?
The $1 Million Man had it right. Everybody's got a price.
Everybody does. And this is my partner in crime.
Yeah, so I'm Kris Jones, serial entrepreneur, investor, and Damon and I partnered and we founded an app called Special Guest. It enables anyone, anywhere, to affordably and easily hire live entertainment.
I love it. So if I'm having a bar mitzvah,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
and I need some talent, and I'm not some superstar that's going to fly in Drake to do it, I can go on the platform and find kind of Drake for a lot less.
You can find the talent of Drake for a lot less. Yeah.
Are you saying Drake is not talented?
No. I'm saying you can find a person that is super affordable that has the talent of Drake.
You're saying that Drake is commoditized in his talent, that there's so many people that can perform that skill at a much lower price.
100%.
Yes. I love you. Kris, you are absolutely a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know, as I was, it's funny how your brain can do so many things. You guys are pitching, you're doing your thing. I'm like, I'm trying to win. Like, I have no other gear. I'm trying to get the best companies. Like, I'm thinking back to a lot of the smart things you said in that Upper East Side. I mean, I remembered everything about that meeting. What kind of experience as an entrepreneur and a serial entrepreneur has Planet of the Apps been? Like, from that Hollywood crossover, obviously you have a celebrity partner in this business. Has it been a fun journey? Was that enjoyable? Like, give me your 2-3 minute recap of the experience.
Coming into it,
Yeah.
it's a bit of, we got a lot of work to do, but a bit of an unfair advantage to be able to launch an app on the Apple platform, right? With the backing of the show, with the backing of all of the publicity.
So you guys were back at the pad before you came day one on set of like, we've already won. The exposure is real. Or were you thinking, okay, we know how they edit TV. We better get to the next round or we're going to get like a quick facial visual and we're not going to get shit from it.
It was both, honestly.
Yeah.
We knew that, it could potentially go downhill. But once we got in,
were you worried that us as mentors could have been cynical to the powerful last name that you had? Do you think that we could have taken the cliche like, you don't give a shit about this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I went in there expecting that.
Yeah.
I thought
I don't think we really went that route.
Not really. I mean, I feel like when it started going south, part of that had something to do with it.
Yep.
But that was from another
Angle.
actress.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it was just an actor talking to another actor. So I couldn't really,
Yeah, I get it.
falter for that.
Yep.
For me, it was like first experience with this type of thing, and I was kind of learning on the fly. It was like I became smarter as the taping went on. I was like, I get it. Wait, I'm not an actor. I get to actually play myself. And when that clicked for me, I think viewers will see that in the show. I started to own the experience, and Damon and both of us really did. And we're like, you know what? All of his creativity. I mean, his background. I mean, he went to school to be an artist, right? All of my experiences, we started using them like pretty aggressively to do well on the show.
Yeah,
to
I think that was an important part for me too, right?
Yeah.
Like I knew, like that was why I wanted to do it because it was zero act. That could have happened in that studio. That could have happened in my office. Yeah. Like I was just going to live it. I was going to give them on the production side nothing to edit.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When I saw you on the show, I was like, oh my God, he's just like how he is on Instagram.
As an aspiring entrepreneur, you grew up in a household that really understood entertainment at the highest levels.
Yeah.
what has been the biggest eye opener about entrepreneurship?
How much work it is? It's a lot. It's a lot of work.
Yes. Great answer.
A lot of work. A lot of talking to people.
Yeah.
A lot of thinking that you're making headway, and then you find out maybe not so much, or there's so many different levels to it, that are.
Have you realized your communication skills is actually a really strong conversion into this world because of so much talking to people?
100%. Absolutely. Especially in the room, because they don't operate necessarily off of what entertainers or the entertainment industry operates off of, which is I can use this guy to, get money. If you don't have a product that they can use, or if you're not at that level, no matter how charismatic you are in the room, they're gonna be like, "Oh, it's great to meet you. You're an awesome actor.
Cool.
I love that. He's a really good guy." It's still early for us.
Yeah.
So we were hearing that, and it was just kind of like it was an amazing experience,
Kris,
yeah.
what about what do you remember from staying up there before the escalator pitch? Were you guys kind of like very in your zone, talking to each other, focused on a pitch, or did you get to, and maybe after you were done because you had to stay there, get to know the other people that pitched that day? How was the vibe up there with the other 9 or 10 or 12 or 15 app developers?
I mean, it was both. I mean, on the one hand, we were certainly making friends, but honestly, I've got this visual of Damon because he started our pitch going down the escalator, and he was rehearsing it, and like he took it really, really serious, and I kind of pictured him like, probably what he looks like right before he's filming a movie or doing stand up. But no, man, we took it really serious, and I think we did quite a bit of prepping, there in real time and then to get there. So, but also, that developer lounge was pretty kick-ass. I mean, there wasn't a lot of information about like when we were going to go. So there's the
nervous energy.
The suspense.
Angst.
The suspense was pretty intense.
It was exhausting.
And we were there for the entire day. I think that particular shoot that day was a good 12, 13 hours.
And didn't we go like second or third to last? Oh my God. We kept going. And then kind of like cooling down.
And was it a bloodbath day, or were people getting picked?
It was I think it was about 50-50 maybe. Yeah. 40% of the teams I think may have went through.
And how was it to be in the circle? Like, what was that feeling like? Just being there and we're drilling with questions, like how?
I don't know if you were there too, right?
Here's a little fun fact. I don't know if this is a fun fact, but it's just a little observation I made. I could see what you guys were pressing on your.
That is a fact, and I find it fun.
The reflection.
I find it fun.
There was like reflection on your clothes. I saw the green or the red.
Right, so there was no concern if you were getting through.
Yeah, no.
But that was the last time it was stable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got onto, I for everybody, like I would watch people doing their thing. And I'm like, oh, they're not getting it.
4 reds,
they're dead.
Yeah.
They had no idea. Yeah. They're in the little pit. So yeah, when we got there, because we got all greens initially.
Yes.
And then we were like, me and him were like, oh yeah.
Super simple.
Crushing it. And then we got on there and it was going really well for a while. And then somebody said one thing. And then
we spent a lot of time on
red. I was like, oh, this is, we're done. And
so on Parting Shots, there's a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs and app developers listening to my podcast. Kris, serial entrepreneur. Damon, obviously growing up in an entertainment environment, now going into entrepreneur land. What's your 1 to 3 bullets on, hey, keep this in mind, from me in the trenches, here's the thing that's real that I didn't expect. Give me 3 values to leave for everybody listening. Kris?
Yeah, I mean, execution is bigger than your idea. So sometimes you romance your idea and you don't take action.
Truth.
App development is about taking an idea and actually fucking starting to develop it.
Yep.
Yeah. Second thing is that you can found an app from Podunkville, from Scranton, Pennsylvania, and appear on an Apple show, and you could build $1 billion company. So I think sometimes entrepreneurs give reasons why they can't do something.
As a real practical entrepreneur, are you concerned by how few people can actually build $1 billion company? And do you believe that the thing that was in our blood has become so romanticized that a lot of people that shouldn't be entrepreneurs are jumping into the game?
Man.
I'm curious.
I think that people have to fail on their own.
Yep.
So I'm cool with people taking the first step. The reality is, if they can't execute, they can't execute.
The market is the market.
There's a reason that successful entrepreneurs like myself, like yourself, become serial, because once we figure out how to actually get the job done and do it, it's not to say we're going to succeed every time, but there's a recipe.
Yep.
Success leaves clues, right? So, but anyway, that's my second.
Yep. Damon?
I only have one, which
Please.
is to listen and digest, and don't think you know everything, and to take that in and understand that not knowing everything is okay. And I think that helped me a lot with my with working with Kris. Because
Damon, on that note, it was funny that you used listen. So maybe more than anything, I don't want to do it for a living. I do quite a bit of it. Maybe more than anything I do, being on stage and giving keynotes is probably the place where I'm happiest.
you look happy.
I'm very happy up there. And it's interesting. I don't have a set, or like I don't know how to write, or I'm pretty much just kind of doing my thing. But listening is the reason I think I've done well in entrepreneurship and on stage. Like, I'm reacting to what they're reacting, and I build on that. Is that what you do when you do stand-up, or are you a little bit, like, how do you do it?
Well, it's very interesting that you do that, because I noticed that about your talks, is that you're very you leave it open to the audience a lot. So you're honestly, it's like a conversation with a bunch of people.
Yep.
With me, when I do stand-up, it's more the closest thing I'll do to that is just reading the room.
Yes.
And knowing, like, okay,
they don't like these kind of
these kind of jokes, or I can sense it just walking in, knowing
you can smell it.
I can smell it. I can smell when they're tight. I can smell when they're ready to have a good time.
What's the best stand-up you've ever had in your career? Like, do you have a night?
Best
yeah.
stand-up?
Like, is there a night where you were like, holy shit, this was like, or like something memorable? Like, it just felt. So for me, because I speak so much, some nights are just better than others.
Yeah. It's the same thing. I mean, some days I'll do a hour-long set and get a standing ovation, and then I'll have another show an hour later, do the same set, and they're clapping at the end, but it's mainly because I'm done. So yeah. But yeah, so it.
Do you
honestly,
love it?
I love it.
It is such a high.
It's a definite high, especially when when you feel the audience understanding you, and like they're just going on that ride with you.
Was it hard for you because of the brand of the last name and the family?
100%.
I mean, fuck.
Absolutely. I went my first year in stand-up. I went on under a different name, just so I could get my bearings.
You did.
Yeah.
But
It
did
was
people
Kyle
realize?
Green.
Were people like, "Fuck, dude, you look exactly like him"? Like, there's even.
That's why I stopped. That's why I stopped saying the
You
name.
were tricking
Because like
nobody. That's
halfway
not you. They
through
say-
my
Yeah.
through my set, they'd be like, "That's Damon Wayans, son. You look just like your damn dad." Stuff like that. So I'd have to just cut it out and be like, "All right, this is my name," and I embraced it. And I mean, I love it, man. I'm
Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
That really, I remember that. I know that. That's where you came from. We had dinner years ago. Do you feel like that's a very important part of your narrative, that you love being successful from a place like that, in a place like that? It's not like you flew to, everybody then goes to Silicon Valley. You've kind of, that's where you put your flag. Like, talk to me about that for one more second as a parting shot.
Dude, totally, 100%. I believe that. I believe in people's potential, and I don't care if you live in Scranton, Pennsylvania, or Silicon Valley. That potential realized is big opportunity. I think I just believe in people. So I've been able to do that from Scranton, inspire people from Scranton, Pennsylvania to become entrepreneurs, to take that first step.
Like, do you walk
towards
around
the journey.
Scranton and people are like taking selfies with you? Are you like the unofficial mayor of Scranton? At least for the entrepreneurial community?
I built a company there called Pepper Jam, right?
Yep.
It's a big employer,
Yep.
sold it to eBay back in
Yep, I remember.
2009. That was a big deal for that community.
Yeah.
And I did it by harnessing the 14 colleges and universities from that area. People were talking about brain drain, all these kids were leaving. And I said, wait, that's a business model. My business model is I'm going to harness that, and I'm going to build a company leveraging that untapped asset. And that was the Pepper Jam sort of business
So you're
model.
the mayor of Scranton, Pennsylvania.
So I am the unofficial. No, I'm just getting started.
Guys,
I'm just getting started.
Guys, thanks for
man.
being on the podcast.
Hey, man. It's
Thanks
great
for being
to
on the
see you,
show.
buddy.
It's good to
Thanks,
see you guys.
Gary.
Take care.
Thanks.
Guys, thanks for listening to the audio experience. 2 things. 1, make sure you're watching my vlog on YouTube. And 2, hit me up on the DM. It's going down on the DM.